say the big one without a small one.
People don't want to call it as it is.
What it is the statutes are instruments to enable to give effect.
City is making it very simple, and I think that
somebody
is
else on the line. This is the Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja. Good morning, Senator.
Morning, Eric. How are you?
Salama kabisa. Welcome to the Situation Room.
Morning.
Asante. Jerry, how are you, everyone?
I'm good.
Morning.
Now, we're discussing, of course, the issue that we saw yesterday, the two senators and MP, and looking at that from an ethical point of view and also from a constitutional point of view, Article 77.
Yes, it was really interesting. And it's not the first time. I've listened to you guys debating it just for a few minutes. And if you get caught up on the law, you'll get it wrong. Because when you say no state officer should be in any other form of gainful employment, and we get too legalistic about it, then they'll say, oh, I'm doing it pro bono, or I'm not gaining from it, or what is the definition of employment? You know?
Yep.
So no need to get into that. I think ethically and morally, it is completely wrong. It is a complete conflict of interest. Even before you go to Manzo, senators, my colleagues, the leader of majority and the minority whip, who represent the House. Then, in fact, they're not ordinary senators. They're the leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
They represent the House, whose mandate in Article 96 is to protect the interests of counties, to make sure that money is spent properly. Going to defend a governor who is there being charged with corruption on a matter that will definitely come back to the Senate. It is like a court of appeal judge being a lawyer in the High Court.
Knowing full well that it will end up on his desk.
The case will come back there. So I said, and yesterday I spoke about it. I think it demeans the role of the Senate.
Yep.
It is a complete conflict of interest. Because tomorrow, if the governor of Nairobi is summoned to the Senate, to the Public Accounts Committee, will you come with his lawyers?
Right.
The leader of majority and the minority whip.
Yep.
In case, and definitely how this matter is going, it will definitely come to the Senate. If, for instance, there's an impeachment or there's any other procedure, haven't the leadership been prejudicial? Even if they say that they're working in their personal capacities, they're leaders. The influence are the senators.
Yes.
So definitely, I think that was it's completely off. I said it when Orengo was representing Ojamong. I said it on the floor of the House.
Yep.
I said it when another battery of lawyers again were going to represent Justice Mwilu.
Yep.
Look, every Kenyan has a right to fair representation of their choice. That is true. They have a right to be represented well. But not all lawyers are in parliament, surely.
Indeed.
I mean, not all lawyers are in the Senate. Or is it that if do people think that if your lawyers are politicians, that the judges will be intimidated?
Sakaja, Honorable Sakaja,
completely wrong.
while we have you on the phone, what do you think is the interest from the senators' point of view, the two senators that are looking to represent Sonko? What do you think their interest is? It can't be purely monetary. What is the political angle here?
I don't know. And I wouldn't want to impute any improper motive, but the first thing I'd say, it is political. Yeah, it is political. Either it is community, or somebody wants to be recruited into one camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whichever way you look at it,
It's a political message.
it's a political message being sent. I mean, out of the 32 of them are from the same community.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a coincidence, and it's really
From the same county.
From the same county.
Yeah.
And the same community as the governor.
Yep.
Mheshimiwa, I'd just like to ask.
We saw Kipchumba Murkomen and we saw the deputy president's aide, Faruk Kibet.
Yep.
That tells you Tanga is involved. I mean, it's just messy.
It is quite messy.
Mheshimiwa, if I could ask, if these honorable members like yourself seem to be in contravention of our constitution, what actions can be taken against them?
Well, anyone who's in contravention of the constitution faces court. So a public interest litigation can be done. Ideally, if you contravene the constitution, you should be charged by the Republic through the Office of the Public Prosecutor, DPP.
Yep.
But clearly, since he won't do that because he's in court with you and he has not raised objection to you representing them, I think we need more public interest. I wish I was one, man. It is a complete conflict of interest. Because tomorrow, if the governor of Nairobi is summoned to the Senate, to the Public Accounts Committee, will he come with his lawyers?
Right.
The leader of majority and the minority whip.
Yeah.
In case, and definitely how this matter is going, it will definitely come to the Senate. If, for instance, there's an impeachment or there's any other procedure, haven't the leadership been prejudicial? Even if they say that they're working in their personal capacities, they're leaders. The influence are the senators.
Yes.
So definitely, I think that was it's completely off. I said it when Orengo was representing Ojamong. I said it on the floor of the House.
Yep.
I said it when another battery of lawyers again were going to represent Justice Mwilu.
Yep.
Look, every Kenyan has a right to fair representation of their choice. That is true. They have a right to be represented well. But not all lawyers are in parliament, surely.
Indeed.
I mean, not all lawyers are in the Senate. Or is it that if do people think that if your lawyers are politicians, that the judges will be intimidated?
Sakaja,
I think
Honorable
it's
Sakaja,
completely wrong.
while we have you on the phone, what do you think is the interest from the senators' point of view, the two senators that are looking to represent Sonko? What do you think their interest is? It can't be purely monetary. What is the political angle here?
I don't know. And I wouldn't want to impute any improper motive, but the first thing I'd say, it is political. Yeah, it is political. Either it is community, or somebody wants to be recruited into one camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whichever way you look at it,
It's a political message.
it's a political message. Being sent. I mean, out of the three, two of them are from the same community.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a coincidence, and it's really
From the same county.
From the same county.
Yeah.
And the same community as the governor.
Yep.
Mheshimiwa, I'd just like to ask.
We saw Kipchumba Murkomen and we saw the deputy president's aide, Faruk Kibet.
Yep.
That tells you Tanga is involved. I mean, it's just messy.
It is quite messy.
Mheshimiwa, if I could ask, if these honorable members like yourself seem to be in contravention of our constitution, what actions can be taken against them?
Well, anyone who's in contravention of the constitution faces court. So a public interest litigation can be done. Ideally, if you contravene the constitution, you should be charged by the republic through the office of the public prosecutor, DPP.
Yep.
But clearly, since he won't do that because he's in court with you and he has not raised objection to you representing them, I think we need more public interest. I wish I was one, man, because it's wrong. It's wrong. It goes against separation of powers. It goes against ethics. Yes, I mean, someone might argue we need enabling laws to really define. But the more laws you need, the more corrupt it shows you are.
Yeah. The more complicated it
it's
gets.
wrong, and you're just using an excuse.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's time we spoke about it. I wish Parliament was not in recess, because this is a matter I've raised with many other senators, and we were going to bring it to the House. And my issue, by the way, is not because it is Governor Sonko. In fact, I'm waiting for that case to be over because I've also taken him to court.
Right.
For defamation. He put on Facebook that I did a press conference because I received money. I've also taken him to court.
Right.
So for me, it's not about that it is him. Today, in fact, yesterday I saw it in our subgroup, some of the supporters saying that you guys keep saying that Sakaja has raised these things on the floor of the House, yet his own leader in Jubilee is representing the governor on the same issues.
Yeah.
That means Sakaja has been going against party position. So how do you even defend that?
You can't. You're caught up in that.
It's a conflict of interest.
Sakaja, now that we still have you, before we let you go, let's talk about the possible scenarios that are likely to play out. Once, if after tomorrow's, of course, ruling on bail, if the governor is barred from accessing office. Now, looking at what your deputy speaker said last week and looking at the Justice Mombingogi ruling, what's the likely scenario here?
First of all, it doesn't depend on tomorrow. Whether gets bail or not, because Justice Mumbi's ruling talks about anybody who's charged.
Yeah.
and he's already been charged.
Right.
I did not agree with her ruling.
Mm.
And it's interesting. I differed with Senator Mutula on that. He said that if you're charged, step aside, but today he's representing someone and saying the opposite thing.
Right.
Because I said if you're a public officer, a state officer elected, the Constitution only envisages a certain number of ways for you to vacate office.
Mm.
So legally, Waititu is still the governor.
Yes.
Legally. But morally, he should, step
He
aside.
should step aside. But it should be his own volition.
Yeah. But in terms of the legal position, the Constitution, which is our supreme law, is clear on how anybody ascends to the office of governor or how anybody descends from the office of governor.
Yep.
Now, given that her ruling has not been challenged, it is the prevailing legal situation until it is challenged. So, in as much as I don't like it, I have to accept it.
At some point, you did say, Senator, that public officials should step aside in cases like this. What was the acceptance of this? I mean, just from the floor, because you did bring this up at some point and were quite vehement in this.
I brought up with respect to public officers,
Right,
who are in the office by dint of appointment. There's a difference between a public officer who's been appointed
And the state officer.
and a public officer who is elected.
yes.
Because, for instance, if we say governor should step aside and a deputy takes over, when an MP is charged, who steps aside and who takes over?
Right.
So unless the court, and the court can actually go further and say, in its verdict, that they have found you unfit to hold public office. So in Nairobi, this is what is going to happen. We'll have to go back to Justice Mumbi Ngugi and tell her, now you told us that a deputy takes over. In this case,
There's none.
that there's no deputy, you cannot create a roadblock and not give us a way out.
Yeah.
Or number two, because the Constitution envisages a county executive and a county assembly, the county executive is not the person of a governor. The governor is a member of the county executive.
Yep.
And the county executive has a governor, a deputy,
And 10
he
others.
is. So a declaration can be made that one of the others, they must choose amongst themselves somebody to act as deputy governor. Then that will save us a lot of money. We don't have to go to an election, etc.
Yeah.
Because Nairobi must run. We can't afford 2 weeks. We can't afford a week without somebody with executive authority.
I was arguing yesterday,
Right.
Senator, that we should just dissolve the entire government and let the people of Nairobi have a second chance at electing leaders. Looking at how the county assembly has been, of course, also behaving in terms of kicking out their speaker and back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a feeling I've had from many people. It doesn't take much. 10% of the voters, Nairobi has 2.3 million voters. 10% of them, just 230,000, right? Sign a petition.
Yep.
Given the prevailing mood, there'll be an election. But the problem is, the cost of doing that. The political temperatures in Nairobi at this time, when the economy already is terrible, might not be,
Conducive.
the best thing.
The cost of not doing that as well, Senator.
The cost of not doing that, I mean, the approvals for construction that have stayed for more than 7 months
Yep.
because somebody suspended the entire planning department,
Yes.
throwing his toys in the corner because he's been charged. So both situations are untenable. The Council of Governors has called for a meeting of the summit. The summit can also initiate that process.
Yeah.
So let us hear what comes out of the summit.
Of the summit.
If not, I personally, as Senator, I'm going to go back to Zimbabwe and to the Constitutional Court to ask them for a way out.
Right.
All right. Asante sana for your call this
Thank
morning.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Senator.
Eric,
Yes.
schools are closing tomorrow.
Good. So you're available.
You must come.
You must come.
I really. Asante.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you so much.
God bless you all.
Thank
bless.
you.
You too.
It's a situation room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. We've been having Senator Johnson Sakaja, the Senator of Nairobi. Of course, he's spoken out against the sight of the two senators representing Gideon Sonko, the Governor of Nairobi. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock.